Team with Kashif and with Samir Bhai, they are working on it. Inshallah ta'ala, by tomorrow we're going to have all the names that we're missing, because we have migrated through some software and this and that to a Salesforce. So I don't know that part of it, but they're going to put inshallah all the names. So give us, they told us, they told me by tomorrow night that they will have all the membership list. If your name is not there by tomorrow night, or perhaps day after tomorrow, then you can definitely fill out your membership, as well as or reach out to the front office, inshallah ta'ala. So on the other announcement that we have in past few weeks, we have some developments, some changes, some excitements and some commotions and whatnot. But I know a lot have been told about it, and this is not the full audience, full epic, but I'm sure the word will get out. I think if we can just if we can adopt one simple thing about these communications, okay? If I want to say something and I have a problem with somebody, I'm going to go and talk to somebody or the board and whatnot. That's the exact etiquette. But if any emails or anything that comes out in community, especially to that, and the person is hiding. By the way, the person thinks that they're hiding, but they are, of course, not. They're not hiding. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows who the person is. But at least for our purposes, if we can just adopt one principle, this epic community can be an example of it, that if there's an email that comes out, regardless of what it is, good or bad and whatnot, if there is no name to it, if the person is not identifying itself, let's make something for yourself. That from here on, any email that comes without a name, I am not going to forward to anyone. It's not important to me. It's not important to me, because it doesn't have any value to it. It just damages more. The other person, okay, maybe it's right, I'm going to send to somebody. But anyway, that will be, inshallah, a resolution that Epic should take, that from here on, any email that comes up, the person does not identify, don't forward it. Don't forward it. Let the person come to the right person and talk to the right person and find the answers for it, inshallah. So that's one thing. Brother Yusha Evans was hired as a youth director as well as outreach director, and we have made that announcements, and then some other thing happened that we all know, and when he got to find out from the portion of it from the email, it wasn't not very good for the things that have been talked about, his teachers and credentials and whatnot. So obviously he was alhamdulillah comfortable, and he is wherever he is, what he does for so many years. And the board have been talking to him for a long time, and he have always said that he have been doing what he was doing, he's good. I mean, he have this contentment that for the dawah he is doing whatever he's doing, he doesn't have to come to Epic and do that. Of course, the need is ours. So we offered him, and then this thing happened. So obviously he had some feel for it, and he publicly has said that he is withdrawing himself. But since then, mashallah, he have seen the overwhelming response from the community. The youth have reached out to him, mashallah. I don't know if you have attended the program a few days ago, or youth, the entire pretty much Epic youth, they came and met him. They also exchanged some iced tea. I don't know what that symbolizes, but they asked Brother Yusha, what kind of iced tea that he likes, and they went up there and they got it. But anyways, and plus we heard from the community members. So I'm very honored and I'm very humbled to let all of you know that Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, that inshallah he is with us. He will be our youth director as well as outreach director. He will, Allahu Akbar. He will be, as we have said, that he must have said in an initial speech that what his plans and visions and all things are. He have said over and over. I'm going to ask him again just to say a few more words from his. Because I think he's going to be going back to home to Minnesota, I believe tomorrow or day after tomorrow. But primarily he will be the outreach director. The entire responsibility of the outreach, that's the dawah, and he mentioned about the home of reverts for the Epic, and civic engagements. He will be responsible for it, and he will also be accountable for it. So he'll be responsible, he'll be accountable, because if you don't give the responsibility, you cannot make somebody accountable. Same wise on the youth. He will be our youth director for all the activities and everything, the visions that we have, that the community have, what he have said. He will be solely responsible. Others will help. As we have said, Farzan will be doing some transitions and whatnot. But he will be and he is, inshallah, our youth director as well as outreach director, and will be, inshallah, will be also accountable as a youth director and outreach director. And we have no doubt, with Allah's help, with the community support, that this will be a great asset to us. We have many things, inshallah ta'ala. I'm very optimistic that inshallah ta'ala he will be able to take EPIC to the next level, inshallah ta'ala. Jazakallah khair. Brother Yusha, if you want to say a few words.
Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah, amma ba'du. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. I'll keep this short and sweet and simple, inshallah. It's been a whirlwind weekend, to say the very least. They say things are bigger in Texas, and man, you guys mean it for real. Friday night I slept very little, as you can imagine probably why. Last night I slept very little because I stayed up reading every single one of the 175 index cards that were given to me so I could understand the mindset of the youth here. I know what you want, I know what you are looking for, alhamdulillah. It seems like the all-nighters are the most famous thing you guys want, Friday night lights, Ramadan. Trust me, I know, I read. But the most overwhelming response to me was that the youth wanted me here. And that is my entire goal, is to be somewhere that I'm wanted and to give the youth a voice. And that is their voice to me, is that they wanted me here. Also, the sisters were very wise yesterday in using my own words against me. It's very hard to argue with yourself. And then the boys, alhamdulillah, they did the same thing. And when I said that if you'd have given me sweet tea, it would have been a done deal, they brought me sweet tea about a half an hour later. So after some thought, I said, you know what, I'm going to give this a go. Nothing worth having is obtained easily. This is what my grandfather taught me as a very young man before ever becoming a Muslim. He called me son. He said, son, nothing worth having in this life will you ever obtain easily. Anything that's worth having is going to take a lot of hard work, and it's not going to be easy. And we have learned this in the deen of Islam is about this. Nothing that we want from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that's worth having is going to be obtained with ease. So inshaAllah ta'ala, it's going to be a struggle. That we're going to have some bumps and some hurdles. Transition is not an easy thing. But inshaAllah, with the support of the community, we can get through those things. That is the thing that will overcome everything, is that if we are a community, if we learn to love one another, if we learn to have each other's back, if we learn to have true, genuine concern for one another, nothing can come between us, inshaAllah ta'ala. Again, this is the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Politics and all of that stuff, leave that for the councilman and the city chain and the mayor. In here we're about serving Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and looking out for one another, because Allah commanded us. He said, this ummah, your ummah, is one ummah, and I am your Lord, therefore worship me. Now, I've also had some questions about the dual roles. Outreach coordinator, youth coordinator. How in the world are you ever going to accomplish both? First and foremost, the entirety of my career in da'wah has been about two main goals. Outreach, telling people about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the youth. This is what I've been doing day in, day out, non-stop, on a global scale for 10 years. On a global scale, across the entire world. So I think it will be manageable, inshaAllah ta'ala, to scale that down to a community level. It's something that I've been doing. I'm not starting from scratch. Everything that I know about how to run an outreach program is already been laid out for years now for me. And I've just been trying to implement it on a very huge scale. Maybe not as successfully as I could, because it's hard to do it on a global scale as one person. That stuff is already ready to go. I'm looking forward to implementing it here, inshaAllah ta'ala. Again, with the youth, I have been working with the youth globally for the past decade. In Minnesota, I have been working with the youth in Minnesota for the past almost decade. And trust me, the youth in Minnesota are on another level. There is so much problems that are going on with the youth in Minnesota. I plan to keep that connection with them and advise them, inshaAllah ta'ala, with the problems that they have. But all of these things I've set in stone, and I would love to lay all of them out for you. But number one, I want you to get some sleep, and number two, I gotta get some sleep. I have a 14-hour drive tomorrow. But for sure, none of this is going to happen if it all rests on my shoulders. There's no way. There's no way one human being could possibly even take care of all the youth. You have a huge amount of youth in this community. There's no way one person by himself could take care of the outreach for Plano, much less Dallas and the community that's around you. This is going to take creating teams. And this is what I'm going to look for, because no real leader can lead by himself. A true leader leads through delegation. They lead through delegation. And if I am talking about empowering our youth to be the next leaders, I cannot say that I'm doing that if I'm not setting them up for that right now. If I'm not giving them roles and responsibilities and having them work with me as a well-oiled machine. Whereas if something happened to me and I am sick for a week, does that mean the youth program should all come to a screeching halt? No, I failed in my job if that is the reality of that. The same with the da'wah. The da'wah should be such a well-oiled machine that we have a team of very, very, very dedicated volunteers, brothers and sisters who know what I know. They understand what I understand. The knowledge that I've learned over the past 15 years of da'wah, they understand that. And if I were sick for a week, the da'wah continues, inshallah. If Allah takes my life tomorrow, the da'wah continues. So this is my goal. My goal, and I know this is not a very good business role model, my goal is to make myself easily replaceable. Easily replaceable. That is the true value of a leader, is someone that you don't need after a while, because he set up such a core team around him that things run even in his absence. So that is my goal, inshaAllah ta'ala, is to create a core team of outreach, brothers and sisters who are well trained in the field of da'wah, sharing the message of Islam, who are well trained in civic engagement, who are well trained in social outreach, holistic da'wah, getting out and helping the community of East Plano, and they're getting put to work, inshaAllah ta'ala. The same with the youth, creating a core team of brothers and sisters who are understanding their own needs and looking out for one another, and are helping me run these programs so that they can see that they are ready for leadership. They can see that they are ready to take up the banner and the next generation, because most of our youth are 100 years ago, they would have already been out running their own businesses, conquering other lands, had 5 children by now, so we have that capacity within our youth to take up these roles of leadership up under my guidance, inshaAllah ta'ala, to where all of this can run very seamlessly. And I see them as one and the same. The face of da'wah is our youth. It should be. If you look at the Jehovah's Witnesses, who comes and knocks at your door? Is it a 50 or 60-year-old man who comes and knocks at your door? How many of you have been visited by Jehovah's Witnesses or Mormons? Who's it comes and knocks at your door? Young men. Young men who are riding bicycles come and knock at your door, because they've been trained like that this is the face. These youth have energy. These youth have talents. These youth have skills. So we want to implement the same, inshaAllah ta'ala. The Prophet ﷺ relied heavily on the youth in his da'wah. So we want to make these two things a seamless integration, to where our youth are the core of our da'wah. They are the next generation. They are the face of Islam. They were born here. They were raised here. They understand not only the Islam experience, but they understand the American experience. They understand the Southern American experience. So that is why we are going to put them to work, inshaAllah ta'ala. And they're ready for it. I saw it through the card yesterday. They want da'wah activities. They want to be active. They want to have a voice. So we're going to put them in that position, inshaAllah ta'ala, and give them some positions that they deserve under the guidance of myself and the core team that we're going to have around me, inshaAllah. So the only thing I ask of you is that you make dua for the success of these projects. Without the permission of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we do nothing. We do nothing. You don't breathe without the permission of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You don't take one step without the permission of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Nothing happens without the will of Allah. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to facilitate these things for us, make them easy for us, inshaAllah ta'ala. And more than anything, make dua that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala puts love in our hearts for one another. Because the Prophet ﷺ said, you will not truly believe till you love one another. You do not have real iman until you have love for one another. This is why he encouraged everyone in the ummah. He encouraged the shaking of hands, the giving of gifts, the spreading of salams. This was all to create love and unity amongst the Sahaba. And look at what they were able to accomplish. People from different backgrounds, people from different nationalities, people from different colors and languages, and all of these things were able to accomplish such great things because they were one. They were one. They acted as a single unit and a single body. Let me tell you right now, what I have seen in Epic over the past year, I have not seen anywhere in the United States of America to date. And I'm not telling you that just to big you up. I have been around this country again and again and again. I have not seen what you have here. And I am telling you, by Allah, if this ummah, if this community were to act as one body, you would change the face of Islam in America. You would change the face of Islam in America, inshaAllah, if you acted as one body. That capability is right here in this building with the leaders that you have, with the talents that you have, the skills that you have. And we're ready to make that happen, inshallah. But we have to work together. We have to work together. And as our dear President Juwaid said, we have to, stop feeding into gossip. I know the salacious things always, they're tantalizing, but we have to try to avoid those, inshallah, because they will tear you apart. I do not change my stance that I said Friday night. Those things will tear this community apart, and I do not want to be witness to that, inshallah. I don't want to be a witness to that. So the best that I can, I will try to help facilitate those things. The overwhelming rule is, if you have something to say to someone, about someone, you address it to them. If you cannot address it to them, address it to no one. It's as simple as that. If you cannot be man or woman enough to talk one-to-one to a brother or a sister that you have problems with, then you just should keep it to yourself. It's not only is that part of our deen, but it's part of being a man or a woman and being a real human being, inshaAllah ta'ala. Anybody who has a problem with me, I'm easy to reach. I'm easy to contact. Please come and talk to me. I'm not going to bite your head off. My black belts are only used for self-defense and in a real life situation. I'm not going to do anything to you, inshaAllah ta'ala. We'll have a nice talk and we might leave better than we began, inshaAllah. That's how things, and it was different when I was a kid. When I was a kid, you had a problem with someone, you addressed them. And if you couldn't solve it with words, you might have gotten into a fight. But then guess what? You stood up, you shook hands, and everything was done and squashed after that. It was just the way we did things. Now, with social media and the internet and the interwebs and all of that, things have just gotten ridiculously crazy. Let's not feed into the negativity, inshaAllah ta'ala, because for sure with the capacity that you have here, shaitan is going to make this community a target. He is going to make this community a target, because he not only sees that capacity, but he will do everything in his power to make sure that it doesn't happen. Only we can decide to let him win or not. He has no power in and of its own. Allah Jalla wa Ala tells us in the Quran, on the day of judgment, we're going to try to blame him and say that you made me do this, you made me do that. And his response is going to be, nay, I only called you. And you responded to that call. I had no power over you. I had no power over you. We need to remember that. The only power shaitan has over us is the power that we give to him. The power that we give to him. The real true power, this is why we say, La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. The real true power is with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and those who believe. So I look forward to it. Yes, I am going back to Minnesota in the morning, inshaAllah ta'ala. I have to be in Austin next weekend, but I am very rapidly going to be transitioning to come here. The quicker I can do that, the less downtime we have for our youth. So make dua that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala facilitates that ability for me. Moving across the country is not an easy thing. We all know this. We're not nomads anymore who have one suitcase to pick up and run. I have to move a house and a family. So make dua that is facilitated and made easy for me. And some of you young brothers that came up to me last night, when I'm here and I need to move all the stuff out of my truck into my home, I'm going to be calling on you, inshaAllah ta'ala. You can bring more sweet tea as well. That'll be beneficial. Sweet tea is never a bad gift for me. Trust me on that one. Sweet tea is never a bad gift. So I look forward to seeing you guys again, inshaAllah ta'ala. And again, I look forward to working with you. I don't look forward to just being, a youth director and a youth. I look forward to being a part of this community. When I came here, one of the things that really shocked me more than anything else and really made my decision quite easy the first go around before I, Friday night pulled it back, was when I came to Fajr here. The few times that I've been here and I came to Fajr and I saw the amount of people you would get at Salatul Fajr, the amount of people that you would get at Salatul Fajr, like the amount of people that are at Jummah at many other places in this country, changed me. Because a few of my teachers have told me a long time ago that, one of the catalysts that he sees for continuation of Islam to become prominent in America is when you can get as many people at Fajr as you can get at Jummah, Islam will have a foothold in America. And this was way back when, pre-9/11, so to be able to see that in this community is just an amazing, beautiful thing. Alhamdulillah, keep it up, keep going, keep loving one another, keep trying to create unity amongst each other, and may Allah bless you all. Barakallahu feekum jami'a. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
جزاك الله خير.